Reeve!
Okay. A couple of things that I'll mention to you once we start talking after 11. I'm very, 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 very annoyed in that someone is... Oh, there's only one word for it, really. Is pinching. Lifting. Oh, there are two words for it then in that case. Filching, that's three. My excellent material and selling it at a handsome profit. Well, an infinite return on capital employed, unless you take the stamp into account. But anyway, he's at it again, the organist, flogging my gags to a, well, popular, almost daily newspaper, and getting money for them. I'll do it for you later, but I've been to a lot of trouble to steal these gags myself, surreptitiously, and I don't go through all that inconvenience just for you to do the same thing. Good heavens above, what do you think it is? Anyway, the only advantage to this is that when the gentleman in question has them published, he sends me a copy of the newspaper, and there's some very interesting things in it. Yeah, so I'll have to take out some sort of copyright. Anyway, I'll look into it. I'll get Robespierre, McGillicuddy and Patel, notaries, public and commissioners for oaths, to look into it and slap an embargo on it. I always find that helps, especially, you know, a nice warm one.
James H. Reeve!
I'll give you your weather now. It's after midnight, so it should by now be becoming dry with a few mist patches hither and thither. And the temperature tonight will fall to 10 Celsius, 50 Fahrenheit. Thursday, dry with some sunshine at first, but showers will develop by the afternoon. The top temperature will be 20 Celsius, 68 degrees Fahrenheit.
Call the new Hallam FM now on Sheffield 852050.
Right, now, the moment has arrived. So we'll just gather our People's Exhibit A. Blimey, Charlie. And we shall contact in Doncaster Gary. Yes?
Hello, James.
What have you got to say for yourself?
Me?
Yes.
Well, are you going to just put your listeners in the picture?
Don't speak to me, you regional organiser for the Lancashire School of Music. What is this? The Lancashire School of Music, Yorkshire area?
Well, of course, the different areas.
Oh, okay. Oh, never mind, doesn't matter. Right, well...
Well, come on.
All right, right, okay. New readers start here. Some time ago, Gary pinched a gag off the programme, sent it to Bernard Manning's World of Laughter in the Daily Sport, and won a tenner. A percentage of which has not passed my way, I would hasten to add.
Wait a minute. You had a video of Frank Cannon.
Oh, yes, I did, that's right, yeah. Okay.
Which I know that you enjoyed.
Oh, every bit of it.
Wow.
He's very light on his feet. Not content with this outrage, Gary has now done it again.
Hey.
There it is on Monday's edition.
Brilliant!
My tenner-winning gag comes from Gary of Doncaster. And he's, well, you've timed
How much do you reckon I'll have made by the time you've been here another year?
I would imagine about 1,000 quid.
Hey!
Hey, what?
You've no idea how hard I've tried.
Oh,
I've sent every gag
God knows
that you've told
Yes?
to Bernard Manning.
Oh, dear, that's a pity. Half of them are his. No wonder he doesn't think they're funny.
Well,
It's crap, that. Not funny.
well, it took some time to get a second one printed, so I don't know what he's thinking.
Well, what sort of a strike rate? You see, now, this is the difference between you and me. You're right. This is what you do. You send well, no, they're not smutty. Obviously, there wouldn't be anything smutty on the new Hallam FM.
Oh, of course.
Witty remarks of mine to Bernard Manning.
Aren't you going to tell him what gag it is?
The gag, well, you've changed it, you see. Now, this is another thing. This is how snidey you are. In my version, it was a Yorkshireman.
Well, it's my gag now, then.
So you've changed it to a Scotsman, haven't you? Hey?
Well, that's funnier, because they're tighter than Yorkshire.
Right. Are they?
Well, I think so.
No, what was it?
Hey, I've got you over a barrel, haven't I? You can't keep calling us stupid. That's 20 quid I've made out of you.
I'm afraid it is, yes.
Yeah.
But I noticed that no commission has been forthcoming.
I'll send you a video of Bernard Manning.
Oh, would you? Oh, smashing. The gag is a Scotsman takes his a Scotsman takes his dog to the vet and tells him that it swallowed a condom. I'm a bit busy just now, says the vet, but leave him with me, and I'm making a right lash up of this, aren't I? But leave him with me and I'll give you a ring in a couple of hours. So the Scotsman leaves his dog and goes home. 20 minutes later, the vet's phone rings. Dinna worry about the condom, says the Scot. The wife's found another in the bedside cabinet. Ta-da!
You don't believe a word I say, do you?
I don't believe a word you say.
I sent you a letter other day, clarifying some facts, and you cast them all off.
About what's the matter with you? You think about nothing else but railways?
Well, you said you didn't believe in televisions being around in 1897.
What was that all about?
You didn't believe, right?
Television in 1897?
Yeah.
What was the first programme? Terry and June?
No, that's when they invented the television. They didn't produce it while at 1929.
All right. Well, what was this television all about then?
Well, you said that there were no such thing as televisions 50 years ago.
Oh, there would be, yeah.
Well, that's another one to me.
Yeah, but
I've got a chalkboard here.
Yes, we know now.
I've got a chalkboard here, pal.
We know 1920. Oh, have you got nothing better to do?
Hey, and the earliest trains...
Yeah.
Locomotive, 1812, yeah.
Yeah.
1758, the Railway Act. Well, that came from the early wooden wagons that were used for running down mines in 1550.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, there you go.
In when? 1550? Good blimey, Charlie. Yes, well, they were very far-sighted, and I think the Duke of Bridgewater must take a lot of credit for this. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah. Because he had the, it is claimed, the first... I'll tell you something in all seriousness, Gary, see.
You don't believe all of it's serious. I mean, you'll still think that we really went to the moon. Margaret tried to tell you that one.
I know. I should have seen the error of my ways, really, shouldn't I? I tell you what, if there are aliens knocking about up there...
Yeah.
And they've got... I mean, they will... If they're anything like us... And there's no reason to suppose that they'll be like us in many ways, but if they possess what we consider to be intelligence, and they'll be wandering about, won't they? Just as we're doing, we're sending messages off into space in the hope that someone will receive them. And they'll come flying over, you see, and they'll say, they'll send down an expeditionary party, and they'll beam them back up, and they'll say, well, did you find any intelligent life? And they'll say, well, we went to a place called Leeds. So I'd have to say no, really.
Well.
Now, listen, about this Industrial Revolution business, I was astonished, you see, because you brought up in Manchester, you taught about Cobden and Bright and Arkwright's spinning jenny and Crompton's mule and Kay's flying shuttle and all this and the Bridgewater Canal and all this, right? And you taught that the northwest of England, because of the cotton and the international trade cycle, and all that, this would and the spinning towns and the weaving towns and all this, the Manchester Ship Canal, was the cradle of the Industrial Revolution, right?
Yeah.
It's spread throughout the world, you see. Imagine my surprise when I find out that somebody from Motherwell says, well, yes, the Clyde Valley was the cradle of the Industrial Revolution. So I said, how's that? And they said, well, we had the first blast furnace and we had the first... I know, right. So they obviously teach them there...
What they teach you in Manchester?
That the Industrial Revolution began there, you see.
Well, of course.
Now, presumably in Sheffield, especially if that bloke who keeps coming on...
If you're looking at Guinness Book of Records, what do they have to say?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, that's where I've got my information from.
Oh, really?
Well, of course. I don't just turf out rubbish, me,
Well, we've got a copy knocking about somewhere. I'll go and have a look at it. I still must take issue with you over the Stockton and Darlington Railway, though.
What do you mean?
Because it was not powered by steam locomotive for its entire length.
Well, I never said it was.
Oh, all right. Oh, fair enough.
It's just the earliest commercially successful steam locomotive.
All right, then. Well, I grant you. But the Liverpool to Manchester, was pulled by wagons?
I think that was the first full-time operative one.
Yeah. But definitely the first railway station in the world is Liverpool Road Station. I mean, it's a railway museum now and all that, but it's Liverpool Road, near Granada Studios in Manchester.
Can I ask you a question now?
Yes, of course you can.
Right.
That is my role in life.
Well, you were talking to a guy the other week
I dare say.
about a case where somebody broke into a house and he was pinching a video, and the owner came up behind him and hit him over the head with a hammer. I think it...
he was telling me that, wasn't he?
Was he?
Yeah.
And you said that however justice should be served, that was far too severe a punishment for the crime he was committing.
Right. Now, I know what you're going to say.
What? No. I don't think you do.
Well, there has been a test case, hasn't there?
No, what I'm going to say is this.
Go on.
If it were your house
Yeah?
and you saw somebody pinching your video and he didn't know you were there, you've got two choices.
Yeah?
You either do as that guy did and cosh him over the back of the head before he knows you're there,
Yeah.
or you say to him, put that video down, leave my house, and there'll be nothing further done about it. You then run a risk of him turning round and coshing you into the ground.
Quite
if
so,
he's capable of doing such.
Yeah.
So do you take that risk or not?
Well, I understand entirely the point that you make.
Bearing in mind he shouldn't be there in the first place,
Of course he shouldn't be there.
and bearing in mind that most people think that if somebody is prepared to come into your house and take something which is not theirs,
Yeah?
considering the fact that that person is living by the law of the land and could equally go out and steal but chooses not to do so,
Yeah?
if they come into his house and choose to do so, then they must pay his price.
Well, the law of the land, it's very interesting that you raise that aspect, because the law of the land says quite clearly that you're entitled to use, it's the same as...
Minimum amount of force necessary.
That's right.
Yeah, but coming up behind somebody and crushing them while they're not looking is
Yeah.
not minimum force necessary, is it?
No, it's more than.
Yeah,
yeah.
But if you don't, and you
exactly.
tell him...
Oh, I know.
And then he turns around, what did he do then?
Yes, but you see, the thing is that the law is, occasionally, appears to be an ass.
Yeah.
And I know that what you say is absolutely right.
changing.
Well, should I tell you? I'll tell you something. I'll tell you something, Garfield.
Well, what's this Garfield business? You're trying to get your own back, aren't you?
No.
Well, what do you mean, Garfield?
Well, I assume that Gary is short for Garfield.
Of course it's no more short for Garfield than James is for Jameson. Or Roger.
But I naturally assume that everyone who calls himself Gary, like...
Garfield Sobers?
in the manner of Sir Garfield Sobers,
Yeah, you're
is
joking.
abbreviating it. Well, I think that's a perfectly natural assumption to make.
No, go on then.
Right, yeah. If you are approached by Mike Tyson
Yeah.
when he's having
On a bad
day, yeah, when someone's spoiled his entire afternoon,
Yeah.
and he comes
I think
towards
somebody
you.
did once, didn't
Yes. Well, you heard that gag, didn't you? Eh?
he? Carry on.
That 8-stone woman said she fought him off for 3/4 of an hour. It's more than Frank Bruno did. Anyway. And I don't want to see that in the sport next week, thank you.
I'm just taking that one down.
Oh. That's right, you know what they're going to call you in future?
What?
The thief of bad gags. There's a few, you know. I've heard people talking about you. Yeah, you see, now you don't know. We have a file on everybody here. You know that, don't you? Everyone who listens.
Yeah.
We have a file on them.
Oh, good.
And I've got several references here from friends and acquaintances of yours. And one bloke said, when we were doing our survey, he said, I went to a do with Gary, the organist, and he said the comedian was that bad. After 10 minutes, Gary put his pen away. You see?
Yes.
Anyway, the thing is, if Mike Tyson...
I've lost half a stone since 10:30, do you know that?
Have you really?
Yeah.
How was that?
Well, I thought it was really funny, you know. I mean, when you came on, you sounded so annoyed, really.
Well, yes, I am.
And I thought, well, that's made my day. I couldn't stop laughing, honestly.
Listen.
I'm still ringing now.
Just to What, from the waist down? Listen. Oh. I tell you, if I ever go on tour, will you come and sit in the audience? Now then, if Mike Tyson, stop me if you heard this one, if Mike Tyson is coming at you with malicious intent, and you pick up a dessert spoon, right, and poke him in the eye with it, just to give yourself a few seconds thinking time, then you will have committed a crime there. Even though Mike Tyson could obviously snap you in half, he's coming at you with his bare hands, and you have used a weapon.
Well, not obviously.
Oh, yeah, I'm afraid so. That is.
Yeah, but he could not necessarily obviously snap you in half, because, believe it or not, James, if Mike Tyson was to come at you with his bare hands, and you were to give him a sharp, hefty kick
in the
between the legs,
in the orchestras, yes.
Believe it or not, he'd go down on the floor.
Oh, quite so. But however,
and probably stay there.
All right, you're all right. Well, you're in a pub, right?
Yeah.
For example, and some monster who's full of beer is quite clearly going to pulverise you.
Well, if he's that drunk,
look, it's no good arguing. All right.
It's hypothetical.
The point is that however disadvantaged you may be physically, if you use a weapon, and the law says you have used a weapon on an unarmed man,
that's what I'm saying. The law wants changing, doesn't it?
Right. However, there was a test case, and I'm racking my brains now to try and remember what it was, but someone did something very similar just a few days ago on someone he caught breaking into his house. He did something extremely violent. What was it now? Oh dear. And he was charged with assault, and he was acquitted. And it was said in court that the action he'd taken was reasonable.
Yeah.
Now, what was it? It was about 10 days ago.
These laws should be changed. If they change the law, it would cut the crime down. Because if half of them thought what they were going to get when they go inside, they won't come in the first place.
Yes, but you see, then they'd go tooled up, wouldn't they?
Well, if they can come here tooled up if they want. I mean, they're at a disadvantage because they don't know where I am in the house.
Well, so they go in
and they come unstuck. Yeah.
Well, no, you can buy a gun now for 50 quid. You know that, don't you?
Go on.
You can buy a handgun for 50 quid.
Yeah.
If you know where to go. So if people suspect, this is the argument against arming the police. If people think
you don't need a gun.
If people think that they're going to go and pinch somebody's video, and most crime is kids who will go in, take the video, and the microwave if they can carry it, and that'll be the end of it. You see?
Yeah, but if somebody's breaking into your house, and you hear them, they're at a disadvantage, aren't they? Because they don't know you've heard them. That's the first thing.
Well,
and for the second thing, they don't know that you're not going to chuck a bucket of scalding hot water over them.
Right, but if
they don't know where you are in the house, so they can't win, can they?
Well, they seem to do.
Well,
they seem to be doing very well for themselves, thank you.
Eh?
Well, you go to a motorway services and see how many videos you get offered. They seem to be doing very well
but what
indeed.
I'm saying is they break in when people are not there, they break in when people can't hear them, when they're asleep, and all this sort of thing. All I'm saying is the law should be changed about the action taken against them when they are caught. Some people catch them and can't, they don't confront them.
Yes, I know. I mean,
they're getting that petrified. They don't hang people in case they hang wrong one. What a load of nonsense.
I think we've had this conversation before.
Well, we never got to the bottom of it, if you
remember.
If you was going to sort me out, and you never did.
What's a load of nonsense about hanging the wrong person? That strikes me as a very serious state of affairs.
You can't hang the wrong person if you've caught them killing somebody.
Yes.
That was all. That was my point entirely.
Yes, but what if you catch somebody shortly after someone has been killed?
I had never said hang somebody unless you'd got 100% proof.
Oh dear.
Now, but you know what?
No, it's all right. I'll get this put on a cassette.
You know what 100% proof is, don't you?
Yes.
Catch them doing it.
Yes. The 100% proof. Right. So you would only.
Do you know what I'd accept as 100% proof?
Go on.
If they admitted it.
Well, people have admitted it.
And they haven't done it.
Yeah.
Hard luck.
Oh, hard luck?
Yeah, hard luck.
Oh, that's all right.
If somebody's prepared to admit it, James, then hang them.
So what are they being hanged for? Being
For
stupid?
admitting murder.
They're being hanged for
They've
being...
admitted murder.
They're being hanged for admitting murder. So, admitting murder...
If someone's daft enough to admit murdering somebody
Yeah.
when they haven't done it, then they're not worth the light anyway.
Oh, so you would... Actually, this is an ideal picture you paint, because eventually we would hang everyone who's stupid.
Whoa!
Right.
Why would you work that out?
Well, and then...
Not everyone who's stupid goes and admits murder,
Well,
does it?
if you ask them often enough, they might forget.
No.
So you would hang people...
You know what I mean. The law's not thick.
Well, it tries very hard not to be.
And a lot of... Well, the annoying thing is, a lot of these coppers that are they're doing their job, they catch these crooks,
Yeah.
and they don't get punished for it. So that's disheartening, isn't it?
This is a popular view, and I think you occasionally hear police officers expressing that.
Well, don't you agree with him entirely?
I would be interested to hear the views of magistrates and judges, because I don't think that they take their duties lightly.
I think they should give all the police force a gun
Listen,
and a license to use it, like they do in Spain. That would sort of.
Right. We're really making headway now. The educational process is unstoppable.
Yeah.
Listen, we revelled in my hometown. We enjoyed the stewardship for some years of a chief constable called James Anderton.
Yeah.
Now, does anything... When I say that name, does it remind you of anything?
James Anderton.
James Anderton, yes.
In Manchester.
Yes. It was... Well, first of all, he grew a beard, which was a bit worrying.
Carry on.
He then announced that he wouldn't swear to it, but he thought it was not entirely out of the question that he might be sent down by God to do good works on this earth.
Oh, yeah.
Does this ring a bell now?
What about it, though?
Well, this man was the chief constable of the second biggest police force in the country.
Yeah.
Right. He said that homosexuals... He said he found it difficult to be particularly sensitive to the problems of anyone with AIDS, because he considered that homosexuals were swirling around in a cesspit of their own filth, you see. He said this I think it was to a conference of
Is this going to
officers.
get to the bottom?
Well.
Is this leading to the point?
Yeah, it is leading to the point.
Why we should not hang the Yorkshire Ripper?
No, just let's...
When we know what he's done.
Let's not. What, was he caught red-handed?
Well, I think...
No, he wasn't, was he?
No, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't.
But I think
that's
you should
a
hang
pity then.
somebody if you can prove beyond shadow of doubt.
Right, yeah. Well, we have, as a matter of fact, over the years...
I know what you're going to say.
Yeah.
We've proved beyond shadow of doubt, and then it's been wrong.
That's right, yeah.
Right, then how many times?
Well, how many times does it have to be?
Well, I'll tell you how many times it has to be.
Yeah.
It has to be more than the number killed by murderers who have escaped from prison and killed again. That's what it has to be.
Well, I would feel that on this strictly utilitarian basis, I would feel it's probably more.
I wouldn't.
I would think.
No, I think it's in favour. I think it's in my favour. This
How far back do you want to go?
to the beginning of time. I mean,
Oh, right.
how old are you, James?
Well,
You're as old as time itself.
I am
believe.
indeed.
I hear every word, you know.
and yet, fresh as the morning dew. Now then, would you...
Go on.
Are you talking about people who haven't committed... People hanged for crimes that they haven't committed?
Nobody should be hanged for a crime they haven't committed, should they? But everybody knows that.
Well,
But
you just said
we
it
have
doesn't
to, we've got to
matter.
draw the line somewhere.
Well, you're
What
making
about
out
the
that...
American system?
It doesn't matter if we hang a few.
And if there's no new evidence after 10 years or 15 years, get rid of them.
What if there's new evidence after 16 years?
Oh. Well, they'll be nearly dead anyway. I mean, if you murdered somebody at 30 and got kept for 16 years on death
Yeah.
row,
so justice has been done then.
well, they've outlived the usefulness.
Only I think, in the case of... Did you say 10 years or 15 years?
Well, how long do they keep them in America? I don't think there's any particular time limit.
I think Carl Chessman was on death row for 18 years.
Yeah, well, they keep them for as long as I think they see fit.
Right. But you would say, like, 15 years?
Well, I would say, how long has Ripper been in now?
He was 1981, 13 years.
Right, well, I'd say do him, because we know he's done it.
Yes.
And I'd say, same with Myra Ridley, because we know she's done it.
Mm-hmm. Although neither of them were caught red-handed, were they?
Well, no, but we know they did it.
Oh, I see. So we're changing that one then, are we?
Yeah. Oh, you've got to.
Okay.
The law's got to bend.
So, right, okay,
It's got to be. You've got to be able to fluctuate, haven't you?
Oh, you certainly have. So, either they've been caught red-handed, or we know for certain they did it.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Mm-hmm. Now you're going to try and prove me wrong now, aren't you?
Well, yeah, I mean, it is the work of a moment, Gary. It is the work of a moment.
Well-
Or have a 15-year sort of statute of limitations, right?
What?
A 15-year cooling-off period.
On death row, you mean?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Right, so I shan't entertain you with the number of people who we have known for certain have been guilty and have subsequently discovered weren't in fact guilty, because there are plenty of them.
Have you got any statistics on people who have murdered, been released afterwards sometime and done it again?
It might... do you know, I shall undertake this duty on your behalf. I shall contact the Home Office tomorrow, I think, and see if they can supply me with any statistics. I mean, they won't be carved in stone, because obviously there will be medical and psychiatric opinion as to whether someone was guilty and all that. Right, but we can probably get what I believe is called these days a ballpark figure.
Yeah.
Okay. As regards your 15-year rule,
Yeah.
imagine that after the morning after the execution,
Yeah.
you get information.
Well,
And
what do the Americans do then?
Well, they hang them, or gas them, or inject them.
Yeah, and
or
what happens on
electrocute
the
them.
morning after if they get information?
I think they say, oh, shucks.
That's right.
Oh, okay, then. So, Stefan Kishko...
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to drag. I'm sorry to drag.
Carry on.
I'm sorry to offend your sensibilities, Gary, with the thought of a simple... And, you know, I'm trying to think of the politically correct word, but I'm afraid there isn't one, right? Stefan Kishko he had not got all his chairs at home, had he?
I'm not familiar with his case.
Right, he was convicted of the murder of Leslie Molseed.
Oh, yeah, I am
Yeah?
familiar with his case.
He did 16 years in prison.
Yeah, and he hasn't done it.
The poor sod said it was his faith in British justice which kept him going. Now, that takes some saying.
Is this the one that didn't do it?
He didn't do it,
Right.
and it was found that there was medical evidence. Not that there was doubt about his conviction, but there was medical evidence.
Nobody's going to say that these cases that you're bringing up now are not regretted cases.
Oh, that's all right then.
But
That's all right.
Where do we drop? So because of that bloke, then
Yeah.
we say, well, we can't hang nobody. So
All right. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do.
that's just
I'll
the
tell you
end
what we'll do. I'll tell you what we'll do, Gary. We'll make you Home Secretary. Okay. You put all these laws into effect.
Hey, I'd get the vote at country, I tell you.
You would. And I'll tell you what you can do as well.
I'll take
you,
some myself.
you can get an additional job. You'll have an additional duty, and that is to go round...
Nicking gags.
No, you've already taken that upon yourself. You can go round to Mrs. Kishko and others like her,
Oh, come on.
and you can say, Mrs. Kishko, listen, I'm sorry about this. We've hanged your son, and we've discovered that he didn't do it.
But would Mrs.
But that's the way it goes.
But would Mrs. Kishko want hanging in power now, considering the crime that's been committed for those that we know have done it?
I would think not.
Well,
And you see, everybody does this. Everyone comes out with this one-liner for people we know have done it. And Britain and lots of other countries have hanged people because they knew they had done it.
and they haven't done.
They hadn't done.
Yeah, because they didn't know they'd done it then, did they?
They knew.
Obviously
They
they
knew at the time.
No,
They
couldn't
knew it.
know. They
Because if
couldn't know.
they didn't know, they wouldn't have hanged them, would they?
They couldn't know.
But they
You've got
did.
to prove
They did.
something. You've got to prove something.
It was proved to the satisfaction of all concerned.
Well, I don't think there's been many wrong cases. Considering,
it doesn't
take
matter.
England alone, and what is it, 56 million now?
Thereabouts, yeah.
Well, there you go. And in this country alone, how many wrong people have been hung? Not many. An handful, I bet.
A handful, okay. 5, 6... Right,
Yeah.
right. Innocent people hanged.
Well, hang on a minute.
Hang on a minute.
Yeah, carry on.
Oh. Which?
Well, carry on.
Oh, I'll carry on then.
There's five, I don't know how many there is.
We'll say it's 6. As a matter of fact, I think the last time, not most recently, but I think in 83, when hanging was debated again.
Everybody always thinks about the people
No, just a minute.
that have done the crimes. What about the people who've been the victims?
Yeah, well, there's no... Because out of pity for and sympathy for the victims of the crime, I don't think that the next logical step is to hang somebody who didn't murder them.
We're not talking about hanging nobody who didn't murder anybody.
Well, you just said it doesn't matter if you do, if you hang a few.
No, I didn't say it didn't matter.
Oh,
I said hang somebody
Yeah.
if you catch them red-handed. Or if you can prove without doubt.
Yes.
Now, there are certain times when you can prove without doubt.
Yes, there have been...
Never mind.
There have been
you
times.
think you have.
That is how...
can
No. That is how you decide somebody is guilty in this country. You decide...
I'm talking
that
about changing that.
They are beyond reasonable doubt
No, I'm talking about
guilty.
changing that.
Well,
I'm talking about changing
right,
that.
give me the new form of words then, Gary.
Beyond any doubt.
Beyond any doubt.
Yes.
Okay.
Beyond any.
Beyond any doubt.
Any doubt.
So you don't think it's worthwhile putting beyond any unreasonable doubt? Or beyond any silly doubt?
Just beyond any doubt.
Beyond any doubt.
If it's beyond any doubt, then it's beyond any doubt. Isn't it?
Well, I can't argue with that.
Well, there you go. Well, what about that copper that clipped somebody around? Hey, you know that paper I've sent you?
Yes, thank you.
I don't know if you read the rest of the page.
Certainly not.
What? Bernard Manning as well?
Oh, I say yes.
I should tell him.
I haven't read any of the other pages.
Nah, I bet.
Yeah.
So, you know what Bernard Manning's put about Prince Charles?
Well, hang on, can we pinch this? Right, I know somebody we're going to... Di talks my language. Prince Charles.
Well...
Prince Charles has gone way up in my estimation for having the guts to admit that he is just as human as anybody else. It's good to know that our future monarch is a man who tells the truth. And I reckon he'll make a bloody good king if he's allowed to get on with his life. Right.
Well, I think it was a week before, he passed a comment, and he couldn't have said a truer word about this copper that had clipped this lad round here. You remember it?
Yes.
And you know what Bernard said? He said, that lad's lucky that copper weren't me. He says, because he wouldn't have clipped round here, he'd have got a kick in the...
In the orchestras, I dare say.
Exactly.
Yes, but heaven forfend.
Now, won't he make a good copper, eh?
Preserve us from the day when Bernard Manning becomes the guardian of this country's morals.
He's always right. You read his views on a Monday, and he always says...
Oh, dear.
He always says what everybody feels.
Well, I tell you what. Well, should we? I'll tell Hugo Young that his job's in danger. Then
he always says what the country feels. What people in the country feel.
I noticed, Gary, that you have steered the conversation away from your entirely untenable theories about capital punishment.
No, I haven't. No.
Oh, okay then.
What do you want to ask
Well,
me?
suddenly we're talking about Bernard Manning.
Oh, well, I was just...
Nice picture of Naomi Campbell's bottom, by the way, if you don't mind me saying so, madam. Very choice. Now then, you see, everyone who's been hanged has been hanged because there has been no doubt.
Oh, but they haven't.
Go on.
They've been hanged because they've been proved guilty beyond all reasonable doubt.
Okay.
And that is not the same thing.
Right, well, I'll tell you what's a reasonable doubt, then. A reasonable doubt is that the murder may have been committed by someone who looked like the accused and had the same blood group and right. That's how
can you say that?
That's a reasonable doubt, isn't it? That is a reasonable doubt.
That's not beyond all any doubt.
No, but that is a reasonable doubt. It's entirely possible. And therefore, it is
not possible at all.
It is a reasonable doubt.
I don't think it's possible, that.
No, I'll tell you what's an unreasonable doubt. An unreasonable doubt is that at the time he committed the murder, his body may have been taken over by an alien life form.
Well, that's ridiculous.
Like in Invasion of the Body Snatchers, Your Honour.
That's ridiculous.
Right. Well, of course, that is an unreasonable doubt, isn't it? Right.
Well, it's also unreasonable to say that in the same place, at the same time, there just so happened to be somebody who looked exactly like this bloke we've got here.
Well, of course.
That's ridiculous.
That's
as ridiculous.
Of course it's
That's as ridiculous as the alien story.
It has entirely happened. I don't know what you've said, pal, but the phones are busier than they have been for many a long day.
Whoa!
Right, so I think we're going to turn the... We're going to... We're
Well,
going to step
keep
up the
them
pace
gags
a bit
coming.
here.
Keep them gags coming.
It's probably people complaining that you've been on for so long.
Keep,
right?
keep them gags coming.
The gags will keep on a-coming, right?
Right.
But I tell you what,
What?
there's a percentage in this for me. I want to make that quite clear. Is that
When
understood?
I've bought a boat, I'll take you for a ride on it.
Okay, then. Oh, oh dear.
We'll take Margaret with us from Leeds.
We'll do what?
We'll take Margaret with us from Leeds.
Right. I'm glad you said that, because... What do you think about that, missus?
Quite well, thank you very much.
Would you like to go on a boat with Gary?
No, thanks.
Oh, wouldn't you?
No, he taught me out of everything, and I'm sorry, I like to talk myself.
Yes, I know. Hang on, my nanny goat appears to be, Turn your wireless down, Margaret, old girl, would you? There's a dear.
Cheeky. Let your old girl, you cheeky devil. How the hell do you know I'm old?
We're entering our affable period.
Well, that's not affable. That's a nasty piece of saying, that,
What?
is it? You don't know I'm old, so shut up, you, and don't be turning around and saying I'm old when you don't even know.
Old girl,
Have you met me?
it's just a figure.
Never mind, old fella. How do you like it, the old biddy?
I certainly haven't met you.
No, exactly. So how the hell do you know I'm old?
Old girl is a figure of speech.
Never mind having the old to me, kid. And I'm not a girl either, but I'm not old either, so there you are. Old is in the mind.
We direct grant boys refer to each other all the time as
I don't care what
old
grandboys
boy.
you are. Never mind that.
My
Old is
dear
in the
old
mind,
thing.
kid. And just 'cause you feel old or you sound old, you don't need to put it on to me, kid.
Do you never,
So
do you
don't
never
start.
listen to Blowers on Test Match Special?
You are?
My dear old thing.
Never mind. I don't care what they say on
Hello,
silly
boy.
cricket. Well, so what? Keep your cricket to yourself, kid. I don't want to know. The most boring game in the world is that.
What do you want anyway?
What do you mean, what do I want? Well, it's not you, that's for sure, kid. So shut
And
up.
I'm happy to accommodate you.
Kid,
With my
here.
absence.
Do you know what the ingredients are in your toothpaste that you use? I'm not naming any names, but have you ever read the ingredients in it?
Suzuki can be spooky, they're risky and they're kooky, but nothing's more bizarre than driving your guitar after watching Valentino in a toddler's cappuccino.
Suzuki, anything but ordinary. The Suzuki Vitara and Suzuki Cappuccino. See them at Machin Bank Motor Company, Sheffield's exclusive Suzuki dealer.
James H. Reeve. I can't find the thing. It is interesting, the number of talented people who listen to the programme, believe it or not. And especially some from Sprotsborough. It's a balmy name, isn't it? And once again, you'll be aware that we have the joke-stealing organist, Gary. Well, we now have Darren, the teacher of organ, keyboard, pianoforte theory. Well, we do a lot of things in theory, Darren, but Darren is from Sprotsborough in Doncaster, and he says, since you're always nicknaming people, I think Margaret from Leeds hit the nail on the head when she called you Haggis. It suits you. As of yet, I have not phoned you, but shortly I shall do so. You can expect a high level of conversation, as I am every bit as clever as you are. Yours sincerely, Darren. Well, if you were that clever, you wouldn't be called Darren, would you? You'd have done something about that. Anyway, we'll see. I'll remember you, pal. Don't worry about that. We'll keep that on one side. Get his file out. We'll start a new file. Darren. There we are, teacher of theory. Right, we'll also have the news in a moment, and then we'll carry on. And the news is after these.
If you find yourself in a police station, under arrest and facing criminal charges, you're going to need some help. G.V. Hale are specialists in criminal law. Call us from the cells 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and we'll be there. Our services are completely free, and the custody sergeant will give you our number, which is Rotherham 898-454. Rotherham 898-454. If you're looking for bail, call G.V. Hale.
A and B. Here's another letter. It's only a short letter. It's from Jackie in Hackenthorpe. And Jackie writes as follows. James, I can't prefix that with dear because you're not. I've tried twice to ring you, but I can't keep this up much longer. I've tried twice to ring you, twice, but couldn't get on because Henry of the multiple personalities was on for half an hour talking a load of garbage. What garbage is, I've no idea. Is it a Jewish word? Garbage? Anyway, you said from the beginning you only wanted intellectuals on your programme, but that's gone down the plug hole, hasn't it? You have been reduced to speaking to anyone who will listen, and this is not to your liking. Don't understand that sentence, Jackie. So, James... What the hell am I doing here? Which indeed I frequently do, Jackie. Please leave us Sheffielders in peace and let us speak and listen to someone human like Dave Roberts. Ignorance is bliss, so push off. Hoping, Jackie. Well, Jackie, thanks for taking the time and trouble to write to me. And I'd just like to say that it's letters like that that make the whole thing worthwhile. So, thanks again. Nice to know you're listening. And this, who I assume inhabits a world entirely of his own, is self-styled, soi-disant, Mad Gary. Hello?
Hello, is that Mad James?
Well, I've had my moments. Go on.
No. I'm so glad you're back, you know. I've got no chance of winning any tenors off Steve Banyard's gags.
Oh, I see. It's you, is it?
What do you mean it's me?
The thief of bad gags.
Well, hey, Madge, I must admit you've got some loyal colleagues. He wouldn't let anybody say a bad word against you.
Well, if he could find anybody.
Oh, there was plenty trying.
Hey, because that's what it's like in the... Oh, I know, they stab you in the back as... They look you in the face and stab you in the back.
Well, according to Steve, there's only one fault that you've got.
What's that?
You haven't got very good taste in football.
Well, look at his... Anyway...
Not as regards football teams, anyway, that's what he says.
Well, the man doesn't know what he's talking about. We shall set the Premiership alight this season, and we shall...
I'll tell you what, Ellen had a right stab at you.
Did she?
Oh!
I've got the measure of her. I've got written reports. I've got all the paperwork here. They'll pay for this.
She told Mark that he was far better than you'd ever be.
Right, well, I knew it. It just confirms everything I've ever thought about human nature. In other words, it's not worth a light. I've had enough of this. And just when you think things can't get any worse, it's time for me to go and hand you over to Brucey. So I'll do that, and we'll do it again tomorrow.
Number 1 across Yorkshire and the North Midlands, with transmitters in Doncaster, Sheffield, Barnsley and Rotherham. This is the market leader.
The 2 o'clock news, this is Michaela Steve.
Right, yes, telephone pests indeed. Now then, hello.
Hello, James.
Hello.
I hear I was criticised from Angela in your first call this evening.
Oh, you hear, do you? How do you hear this?
Oh, a friend of mine rang me, and I just managed to catch the last 5 words. Because I was having an early night, you see.
All right, that's interesting.
I heard that she thinks I'm very pro-German and very anti-British. Is that roughly what she said?
That's more or less along the... yes, I would say you've got the essence of it there, yes?
Well, you know, in defence, I would say that I see the world very differently from Angela because she's British born and bred, and she did her bit in the last war, you know, in intelligence or whatever she did.
Yeah.
And I like to think that my relatives did their bit as well for their own country of Germany, even though they were wrong.
It's funny, you know, the idea of the people who are in this programme and intelligence. It's not an automatic connection one would make, is it?
No.
Anyway.
No. But from previous conversations that Angela's had with you, I get the impression that she worked in intelligence during the war.
Yes, yeah.
You know, because she did say to her in one conversation, was there a white star with a circle around it?
Yes.
So I remember these conversations, James.
In fact, rumour has it that she packed Glenn Miller's parachute.
Did she? Oh, that's why it's still never been found, has he?
Yes, it's a joke.
Oh, right, yeah. I liked the last one about the coasters clear. I thought that was very good.
Did you enjoy that one?
Yes, I did.
Well, listen, if Gary in Doncaster's got anything to do with it, it'll be in the Daily Sport one day next week, and he'll get another tenner.
Oh, is that the one?
Yes. Oh, hang on, wait a minute. Whoa! We have, listen, just to show that he is a man of some decency. Here he is. Do you know what his qualifications are?
No.
FLSM, double LSM, TDLMUS, LSMCT, VCM, AVCM.
What does all that mean?
Not a clue.
Oh, right. Does he make them up as well, like his jokes?
I don't know. Either that or he's got a duff, printed them cheap for him.
Right. But I would say his last point there was very good because, like I said to you the other week, I had 484 calls in 10 days. And I think that person should have got 5 years.
Anyway, listen, I'm not talking about that.
No. This thing about Germany.
Yeah, shut up a minute. This is a letter from Gary. Here at last is your reward. Because you know what he's been doing, don't you?
Apparently he's been sending your gag into national newspapers and getting money for them.
That's right. Now, I have spent a lot of time and trouble, and I've gone to a great deal of well, I've put myself out, really, to steal these gags. I've the number of things I've had to write on a bit of serviette under the table so the comic doesn't see me.
Yeah.
You know, and it does take some, and then you get home and you can't read it properly, or sometimes you find in the dark, you've written on the leg of your pants, you know. And I've gone to all that trouble, eh?
Not in my case, James.
No, but I'm sure you can picture the scene.
Yes.
You remember trousers, don't you?
Yes.
Right.
Well, I've seen them.
Yes, of course. So, I've done all that, and then he writes them down, sends them to Great Ancoke Street, and he gets a tenner.
I think that's wrong. He should give you a fiver of it.
Well, he's done something at least as thoughtful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you what it is, if you'll let me.
Yeah, go on.
Right. Here at last is your reward. Perhaps this will stop you moaning about receiving a second-hand copy of Cannon the movie. Now then, there's then a gag which we can't possibly do. It is a video called, well, all I'll say is there's a thing on the front that says, warning, this video contains material which some will find offensive.
Right.
And it is called Bernard Bites Back. Yes, live at the Embassy Club, Rochdale Road, Harper A, it is Bernard Manning.
Oh, my God.
There we are, I say. Bernard Manning has left you ungagged, shooting from the lip, and banging. Those are the names of his previous videos, you see. Multi-talented, multicoloured, monumentous, and magnificent Manning is biting back with this completely new video with new gags which soak up every aspect of British culture. This massive human laughter machine will touch your funny bone as he wanders through every class in society. No one can match Bernard's fast, funny, outrageous delivery as he leaves no one unscathed by his ravings. But who cares? Everyone loves Bernard. Well, I think that's a bit, yes.
It's a bit of a generalisation.
I think it's a bit of a boast. Did you hear this story?
No.
Okay. The time he was on at Caesar's Palace.
What, in Las Vegas?
Yeah, he was. It's true.
Did they let him in?
He appeared on stage.
Right.
It was at, I think it was 11:30 on a Tuesday morning.
Right.
But he did actually appear. And,
I bet they had to reinforce it.
Well, Johnny Ham, now you see, now that's a fattest gag, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's a big fat Mancunian lard bucket gag.
Yeah.
Anyway,
He got on stage then?
No, this was at the airport.
All right.
Now, you know Bernard Manning's reputation?
Yeah, I do. 3 seats on one aircraft.
Yes. Well, Johnny Hamp, who was the man who created The Comedians, the original series.
Yeah, I like that.
20 years ago. Right? He took him to Las Vegas, and he said they're coming down, walking across the concourse at LAX. Right? And Bernard is wearing his traditional Mancunian abroad outfit of brown pants, pink shirt, red braces, hanky on head, right? Fawn socks and sandals. You get the picture?
Yeah.
Right, lovely. And he said there's this enormous black bloke walking towards them, a porter or whatever, And he says he's pulling 2 trolleys laden with suitcases. And he's got 2 suitcases under each arm. And he's holding the handles of 2 suitcases in each hand. And he's toiling across this forecourt. And he says it's pouring off him, right? He's pulling his stripes out, moving these cases. He said, and Bernard saw him and walked over to him. And Johnny Ham thought, oh, good grief, what's he going to say, right? And he went up to this bloke, and he stood in front of him. The bloke stopped and looked down at Bernard Manning. And Bernard said, hello, my friend. Free at last.
It's very good, James. That's a real killer.
What do you think?
I think it's brilliant, yes.
Yeah, you see.
Yes.
So he's, perhaps some people misjudge him.
Yes, that's right. You know, it's very sensitive and caring, isn't it, really? You know, the man's got a real soul, you know.
Yeah.
You know, not on his shoes either.
No?
Yes, very interesting. Do you actually know him? Have you met him in your career?
Oh, a few times, yeah.
What's he like off stage? What's he like as a person? Is he just like he is on stage, just you know, just to carry on?
I'll tell you what he is, seriously now. He is, how can you put this? I think it is, I hesitate to categorise people, but there is a sort of, you know, cities have a name for having certain characteristics.
Yeah.
You know, like Glasgow's supposed to be a tough city. Liverpool, everyone's supposed to be a comedian, right? And all this sort of thing. And everyone's chirpy, you know, your Jimmy Tarbucks and all this sort of thing, right? And if you look at Manchester, it's produced people like Les Dawson, Bernard Manning, myself.
Chubby Brown. Where did Chubby Brown come from?
Chubby Brown's from the northeast.
Right.
And there's a sort of a grimness about the place. But very, I mean, I don't know, maybe you build up your own picture and you think nobody else is like you, and you know that's not true, but people are, part of the way of the normal way of speaking to people is to be quite rude. You know what I mean? Your best friend, the kindest thing you can do to someone is to be abusive. Right, because that shows that you trust them with that.
How close is the image portrayed by Coronation Street 20 years ago of Manchester of today?
Of 20 years ago?
Yeah.
Well, it's. I mean, Coronation Street's not real. I mean, there are no
2 ups and 2 downs anymore.
There's plenty of those.
But not in the way it's portrayed on Coronation Street.
No,
Backyard.
No, there still are some. Yeah, there's plenty of areas, Longsight, Levenshulme, places like that. Yeah, all that goes on, and there still are streets like Coronation Street.
Right.
Yeah.
Obviously, I know it's not real. I know it's a part of a TV studio.
Yes, I know that, but I mean, the thing is, there's nobody black in Coronation Street for a start, is there?
No,
nobody
right.
at all.
No one Asian.
Right, no one Asian.
You know, I wonder where the characters in Coronation Street would come on your list of common people.
Oh, well, clearly. I mean, you don't need me to explain that, you know.
Yeah.
Bet Lynch. God blimey. I think that says it all. Anyway, the point is this, that Bernard Manning he's actually quite a kind man, believe it or not.
Is he very good to charities and things like that?
He is. The club, I think, 2 nights every week, if a charity wants to hire it for a do, they can have, I mean, he takes the bar money, but they can have the club. You know, if you're having a fundraising do or something like that.
Yeah.
And he will, I mean, obviously he makes a living by being one of Britain's best known comedians, but he will do for his favourite charities. He can't do it all the time, or he wouldn't make any money. But he will do gigs for free, whereas normally he can ask £1,000, £1,500, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Hang on just a minute, Annie's having a go about something. Coronation Street what? What? Oh, apparently there is someone black in Coronation Street.
One character.
Yeah, yeah.
But that
About-
isn't a proportional representation of the population.
Oh, I
of
don't know
Manchester,
whether
is
it is or not. It's more than they've got at Everton anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Now listen. To speak to Bernard Manning, he is approachable, he is businesslike, he is not sentimental. If he hears of someone who is skint or someone who's in a bad way in hospital or something like that, he will do something for them. But he won't be mawkish about it. It's a very matter-of-fact sort of thing.
Yeah.
And he doesn't get upset about anything. But if you say, right, such and such a kid, you know, in hospital, leukemia and all that sort of thing, he'll take some money out of his pocket and say, hey, I'll give him that.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's it's just a sort of an approach to life, that life is grim.
And he's there to lighten the load if he can.
I suppose so. I don't know what his philosophy is.
Yeah.
He won't be messed about.
No.
He won't let anyone work him a flanker.
Yeah.
But I don't think he would work anybody a flanker. There's a... Hello, Gary.
Hello, James.
Oh, good grief. Hello there. I'm sorry, I'm a bit bilious.
Eh?
I'm a bit bilious. Don't say eh.
Hey.
Oh. It's the attention span of a goldfish.
The attention span of a goldfish. Hey, listen, you were criticising
I just said that.
Professor Rifkin
Professor Rifkin?
other night.
Malcolm?
You said
Yeah.
that laws of physics say that if you don't put anything into a space, it can't get bigger.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
You were talking about...
It depends.
You were talking about people with gland problems.
It depends who you're thinking about at the time.
Fat people.
Lardies, yeah.
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 And you said that if they don't put out in, they can't get bigger.
Well, I wouldn't put it quite like that, but broadly speaking, yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Right, do you want the information on this? How it really works?
Well, I think genetic theory is probably a bit strong for our punters at this time of night, but go on, yes, Gary, if you can think you can...
What he was referring to is this, right?
Yes.
If you're human, you've got to drink water, else you'd die.
Let's assume, then, that most of the people listening to this programme are human.
Right? You have to drink, don't you? Now, the gland problem that he's referring to is one by which, when this gland goes wrong, your body retains fluid.
Yeah.
So, as you drink water, you don't part with that amount of water, you part with less.
Yeah.
So you're retaining the fluid. So no matter how much you eat, you can go on a salad diet and put weight on.
Right, but that can be got round with diuretics, can't it?
Not always. That's why there's people walking around like barrage balloons.
All right. But by and large... this is a red herring, this argument.
Oh, what?
A red herring.
What on earth are you talking about?
Have you never heard of the expression a red herring?
No. Never. Well, I've got a list of expressions here that I've never heard of since you started, but no.
Have you heard of the expression pit pony?
No. Never.
Have you heard of the expression spiral staircase?
Yeah, of course I have.
Fair enough, then. Okay, well, forget I mentioned the herring.
Hey, do you want me to get to the good bit?
Well, you see, you're making a mistake here now.
Hey.
What? Hey, oh, what? No, missus, don't. What?
Other night before last, and I were right grieved because I couldn't get you last night.
Yeah.
You made a mistake with your English grammar, and I was delighted.
Unlikely.
You did. Yes, indeed.
Oh, yes, indeed, he said. The glee in his voice. Almost tangible. You can cut it with a knife.
You can't. If I hear you make a mistake, it's straight down. I've got note, pen and paper here.
Do you say that round here? You can cut it with a knife?
No.
No, okay.
Hey, listen, this is the evidence.
You're trying
to get out of it. You're trying to waffle.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
If there's anything else you haven't heard.
You're trying to get out of this.
Do you say around here, good morning and how are you today?
Yeah, of course you do.
Okay, right.
Listening?
Yes?
You said it was Monday night and it were just gone 1:30.
Monday night.
Yeah? You were talking to a geezer about whatever it was, and your words was...
Were?
Yeah, your words, right? Your exact words, to quote, you said, there is a lot of criteria on this subject. Right?
Yeah.
Well, that's wrong. You can't say that. Because if there is a lot of criteria, then it should be there is a lot of criterion.
You're pleased with yourself, are you?
I am delighted. I mean, I'm not much good at English,
No.
but even I know that. I'm delighted.
Are you? Well, I'll tell you what, you'd be about as delighted as the Chinese Olympic Committee when they thought Peking had got the Olympic Games.
Why?
Because it'll be short-lived.
Why?
Because criteria
Yes,
is the plural
that's right.
of criterion.
That's right.
You dunderhead.
Yes. So therefore, you can't say there's a lot of criteria. That's like saying there's a lot of apple in this grocery shop.
No. Criteria is the plural
Yes,
of criterion.
that's right. So you should have said criterion.
No, because there was a lot of them. Oh.
Do you know what plural means?
Oh, well, should I tell you what tonight's prize is?
Listen.
Should I tell you what tonight's prize?
Listen, you've got
especially for
this
you?
back to front, and you won't admit it.
No, I think you'll find that the cart and the horse are transposed, and there's an extra special pie being awarded to you, Gary, tonight. And I'll tell you what the extra special pie is. It is, pal, it is humble pie. That's what it is.
Oi.
Because you have just made a
Explain
complete Charlie of yourself.
Explain yourself.
One criterion, two criteria.
How can criteria, in the dictionary, I've looked this up.
Yeah.
In the dictionary, it says criteria is the plural for criterion.
Well, do you know what plural means?
The singular one.
No!
It is!
Plural is the opposite of singular, you nitwit.
It's not!
You oaf! Plural means there's more than one.
Plural means the singular.
Look up plural, then.
I have done. Where were you taught English grammar?
What are you looking it up in? Stanley Unwin's Guide to the English Language?
There are 3 married couples having dinner together.
I'm not interested. You're going to tell me how much it cost now. Don't want to know. Or whether the money was short. The news is on its way.
The nights are drawing in again, and if you want real security and peace of mind, then you want to talk to the Garage Door Company. The Garage Door Company have a limited number of electric remote-control garage door systems which make life easier and your garage more secure, all for just £299. They can even fit the unit completely free to your existing garage door. And there's a comprehensive 2-year guarantee. Call the Garage
Radio News.
James H. Reeve.
Wet and windy for the rest of the night, with the rain becoming heavy at times. 4 Celsius, 39 Fahrenheit minimum. Wednesday, a mixture of sunny spells and blustery showers. Top temperature only 8 Celsius, 46 Fahrenheit. Fresh southwesterly wind.
The new Hallam FM.
Right, well, we better not stop Gary from celebrating that major blow that he struck there. Oh, the taste of defeat is bitter in my mouth. Listen, if there were a deeper hole than the one Kenneth Clark is wishing for, then Gary, it's yours. Get the picture. What did he say? The singular is the plural of opposite. Right. Why do I sit here? No. Charlie in Sheffield. Hello, Charlie.
James?
What did you think of that assessment of the situation in Cambodia?
I don't know, but you did sound a bit depressed after your last caller. He was miserable.
He was miserable?
Yeah.
He was up the wall.
Exactly.
We must go to a... Oh no, that'll be in a moment. For the time being, we go to a man who I think this is the man who thought he got the better of me the other day, but was of course utterly humiliated, as tends to be the case, and that is Garfield in Doncaster. Hello?
You don't forget quick, do you?
Not at all.
I suppose you're really pleased with yourself, aren't you?
Is this by way of a public acknowledgement of the fact that you made a complete...
I got the words in the wrong way round.
You now understand that singular and plural, far from being the same thing, are in fact completely opposite.
Well, no, I knew what they meant. I've looked the criterion, and the criteria in the wrong opposite side of the word plural, which was positioned somewhat to the left of either. Anyway, I'm not going back over that.
So this is... oh no, I think we should.
Yeah, well, you would.
I feel very strongly that we should.
Well, we can if you like, because I've got a beauty for you.
Have you?
Oh, yeah, I've got my revenge, you see. Why do you think about phone?
Oh, because you imagine... Oh, because you feel the same confidence that you did last week, do you?
Yeah, I do. Hey, I'm not going down plug hole tonight, though.
And when will we be climbing down on this one?
Hey, listen.
Hey, oh no.
Listen.
Oh, yeah.
I've got it on cassette. A statement you've made tonight.
What?
And it's a classic.
What?
You told a guy that if you got 5% interest on 17 million,
yeah,
you'd get 85,000.
Yeah. Oh, hellfire! You're right. I've given him 0.5%, haven't I? It's 87. Hang on, 8,000. 87,000. Oh, hang on. Because 1% is...
I think you said 85. I don't know. You might have said 87.
87 it was. But I should, in fact, that should be 870,000. Right.
Is that on 17.5 million?
17.5 million. 17 that would be... That would be 1,750,000. 1,750,000.
That's better.
Right.
Well, now we've established that English is my weak subject and maths is yours.
Oh, all right. Okay. Right. So, right. I'm Richard Whiteley, you're Carol Vorderman. Okay? We know exactly where we stand.
Well, I know who I'd rather be.
That wasn't... Well, that gag didn't work. Move on.
Yes. You're talking about Myra Hindley, weren't you?
875.
You were requested for some comments.
Well, last week, yes, but I know that news travels slowly around these parts, so...
Well, no,
yeah,
but everybody can't get on the same night, can they?
No, that's true.
And...
As Jackie Collins would say, yeah?
You put a question out, it was right at the end of your last show, anyway, and you said, should we keep tens of thousands of people in prison?
Mm-hmm.
Just because by releasing them, 3 may not be reformed and could kill again.
Yes, I think that was...
Well, don't you think that that's the same kind of question that I put to you when I said, should hanging have been abolished just because by not abolishing it, the odd innocent person may be hanged?
No.
Oh.
You're having the same problem again, aren't you?
Go on.
Yeah. Well, you've got this... I mean, Harry Enfield could create a new character.
Yeah.
He could have a bloke who comes on and says, "Howdo," and goes, "Ha ha 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 ha," and says, "I get everything completely the wrong way around, mate."
Hey, you're trying to get out of this, but I reckon I'm right here.
No. Well,
it's the same thing.
Well, statistically, yes. In terms of percentages,
it's funny how you agree with one and not the other.
Well, I agree with the fact that you can make out you can ask whether a calculated risk is worth it because of the elements which make it a risk in the first place, okay? You can say, why not hang everybody on the grounds that, you know, we're bound to get one or two who are guilty.
No, I never said that. I said, why don't we hang the murderers that are caught and prove to have murdered? Okay. Nobody's going to go out and hang everybody.
Right.
There'll be nobody left.
That's true. So we're assuming, therefore, that the question we are both asking is why not take a measure and accept the possible experimental error which may be contained within it. Yeah?
Well, because if you're going to release... It's all right. I think it's a better error to have hanging and occasionally slip up than it is to release somebody who you know is a murderer and slip up. What an error that is.
Oh, you know they're a murderer. You don't know they're going to be a murderer, do you?
You know they're already a murderer or a murderess.
Yeah.
Don't you? You know Myra Hindley, you know what she's done.
Yeah.
So surely nobody's going to release her. She shouldn't be there to be released.
People have been released who've committed murder?
But they shouldn't have been.
Why not?
Because they've killed somebody.
And they've paid what we deem to be the penalty for it.
They have paid what I deem to be the penalty for it.
Well, unfortunately, you're not Home Secretary, are you?
Well, unfortunately not. No. But we're talking about Myra Hindley and why she should be not released or not released. And I don't think the question should even arise. I'm gobsmacked that there's anybody that thinks she should be released. How would that Lord Longford feel if he got his way and she were released and she weren't reformed and she did the same thing again to his granddaughter?
Well, for a start,
Would be very pleased then, would he?
That's a preposterous question because she obviously isn't going to do anything of the kind.
How do you know?
Well, of course we know that.
How do we?
Do you think there is the slightest opportunity? Look, let me ask you something, Gary. She's been in prison for 30 years.
Yes.
Do you think that in 30 years...
28 years, isn't it?
30 years sounds more dramatic.
Oh, well, anyway, it's only a maths error, isn't it?
Right. So you shouldn't really be surprised.
Yeah, well, I had to have a little chuckle there.
Right. So let us assume... Are you going to ask me to believe that for 28 years she sat there thinking, any minute now, I'll be out?
I'll tell you what worries me.
Yeah.
From a statement that she made. She said that the pain that the families have suffered and everybody involved is nothing to the pain that she has suffered since she realised her mistakes, since she came to her senses and realised her mistakes. That was in the Times last week.
Okay, well, what is it that disturbs you about that remark?
I'll tell you what disturbs me about that remark, because she then goes on to say that she hopes that people will realise that she's seen the error of her ways and release her. Now, if she was so disturbed by the error of her ways, wouldn't she want to just curl up and die as opposed to be released? Because I think any normal person that came to the senses, having done something like that, wouldn't want to live anymore with themselves.
People have, yes,
Can you imagine the shock of doing something like that when you're out of your mind and then coming to your senses and realising what you've done? And then she turns around in the next breath and says, but now I've seen the error of my ways, will you forgive me and let me be free? I think it's all a big con. I think she's just trying to get out so she can have another go before her days are numbered.
Oh, I think that's a ludicrous proposition.
Well, yes, you would, because you're a do-gooder. So I wouldn't expect you to see my point of view.
No, I'm not a do-gooder.
Well, you're partly one.
No, I'm not.
You are?
No.
You are?
I believe in doing that which most improves society.
Well, you don't believe that by releasing Myra Hindley or any other murderer that you would improve society, do you?
Well, by continuing to imprison Myra Hindley, is that going to improve society? Now, think carefully before you answer that, because you know what you like when you rush into things.
Say it again.
Is continuing to imprison Myra Hindley, is that going to improve society?
Yes.
Now,
because that sends a message out. That sends a message out. That tells the public that if you kill somebody, you spend the rest of your days inside.
Right. When Myra Hindley and Ian Brady killed Leslie Ann Down, John Kilbride and Edward Evans, the message which went out in those days was, if you kill people, you are hanged by the neck until you are dead.
Yes, it was.
Didn't stop them, did it?
Didn't stop them. But I wonder how many it did stop. But that's another argument. But the message here was not to the people that might commit murder, but was to the people that wouldn't. That's the message that I was trying to explain.
Right.
You are saying to the people in society that are normal living people, anybody who commits murder will be locked up for the rest of their lives, and so therefore you will be safe from these people. Why should anybody be at risk because of her or anybody else? Why should they even have to think about whether or not she's going to do it again?
Well, nobody's going to be at risk if Myra Hindley were to be released.
How do you know that?
Clear.
How do you know that? How can you absolutely 100% guarantee that?
Nobody can guarantee, you can't guarantee 100% that you'll still be on this earth an hour from now, can you?
No.
But
10 minutes from now.
Right.
So.
But you work along the lines.
Well, you'll still be on this earth, but you might not be living.
Okay. That you work along the lines that every likelihood is that you will be. Okay.
I'm surprised that anybody is considering whether or not she should be released.
Well, I suspect strongly that people will go on discussing whether she should be released or not until it's too late. I think that is the way that they will get out of this one.
I'll tell you when she should be released.
Go on.
She should be released when you convince everybody in the country that it's all right, and that includes the parents of the people.
Listen, I'm not...
You won't convince them, would you?
I'm not advocating that Myra Hindley should be released.
No.
What I'm saying is, if Myra Hindley or someone who has committed crimes of the magnitude that Myra Hindley and Ian Brady committed, if it can be demonstrated that the imprisonment and whatever experiences she's undergone, either of her own making or from the studies that have been made of her and the discussions that she's had and so on, therapy, if you like.
Can reform her.
Right. If it can be proved that she has attained the standard which the Bible says is the most favoured.
Oh, come on.
Well, listen, just a minute. Whoa, hang on, where are we now?
Well, you're not religious.
I know.
Well, so how do you expect...
I'm constantly being told by people who are religious exactly how I should carry on.
Well,
so isn't it good enough for them?
I don't want any government that we've got in power to release murderers just because the Bible says turn the other cheek.
Well, it doesn't say anything about turning the other cheek. The biblical reference to which I am.
Go on, give me the biblical, because I don't know the biblical reference.
You know perfectly well it's the sheep that wanders off and comes back, and the shepherd thinks more of the sheep which has come back than of all the ones that stopped where they were in the first place. Right?
What are you on about?
The sinner that repenteth, the sheep that returneth to the fold, right? And the Lord loves the sinner that repenteth more than the rest of the flock. You're not familiar with this?
No, you're well armed, aren't you?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know things that really are of no interest to me, but I need to know them because they're useful when you come up against people who don't know anything.
Well, they're not useful because all that babble I've proved out. What does that mean?
What?
What does that mean?
What does what mean?
All that lot, what you just said.
I'm saying that the rules of our society, those which we deem to be the laws which we have framed, have all been constructed with certain moral values in mind.
Yes.
And most of our moral values are taken from the religion which the Western world has followed.
And now explain how that's got all to do with releasing hardened murderers.
Because the word of the Bible is, Right? You see.
The word of the Bible is "Thou shalt not kill."
The word of the Old Testament is "Thou shalt not kill." The word of...
Well, hang on a minute. I don't think Jesus has been back to change that, has he?
The word... No, Jesus isn't in the Old Testament. He was only on after the commercials. Right? He's in the second half. He's in the Bible 2.
Go on.
Right? It was a remake. Right. In the first part of the Bible, the Lord is a vengeful God. In the second part, he is a loving and forgiving one.
I'll tell you, can I ask you a question on this subject?
Well, it'd be nice if I could finish the point I'm trying to make, but it's clearly that's not...
Okay, finish this point.
Right. And it says in the Bible, which has shaped Western philosophy for 2,000 years, it says that the Lord...
This is the Bible too?
Yes.
Yes.
The New Testament, he's the geezer, right? It says that the Lord loves a sinner that repenteth.
Right.
And the Bible preaches forgiveness, it preaches repentance, it preaches doing to your fellow man as you would be done by. Yeah?
Yeah.
Right. So that is what Western rhetoric and philosophy have been founded upon.
That's in the Bible?
That is in the Bible, yeah.
Right. Well, we don't really go by that, do we?
Well, I've just been to a great deal of time and trouble
to
explain that we do.
The law doesn't always go by what it says in the Bible.
It is a system of regulation for human behaviour, and it is just a minute.
I know that.
It is based on certain fundamental moral standpoints which we believe to be essential to our way of life. Yeah?
Right.
Right. It says you shouldn't do things. But it also says that you should forgive those who do. It says, love the sinner, hate the sin.
Would you forgive her?
I don't know. I've been thinking about that.
I mean, if she'd done it to your kid?
I've been thinking about that.
No, you wouldn't.
I don't know.
Of course you wouldn't.
The first thing that I wouldn't be able to do would be to act as a judge. Now, that's a big flaw in the argument. What if it were your child?
What are they going to do if Myra Rindley or any other, but we'll say Myra Rindley, if she's released, what are they going to do if somebody who was associated with the families that were grieved murders her, happens to find her and gets hold of her? What are they going to do with them? Are they going to lock them up?
Yeah.
Well, that's wrong, isn't it?
No.
Yeah, it is. Justice has been done.
No, it's not.
It has.
No, it hasn't.
Well, I think it has.
Justice has been done in that someone was arrested, charged with murder, was tried, was found guilty, and is paying the penalty that the law allows for. Now then, if you kill somebody...
Well, we all know what the law is.
If you kill somebody, then you are guilty of it. What about the bloke who's just had to pay £4,000 to a burglar that he shot for trying to break into his potting shop?
Yeah, that was in the Times as well, wasn't it?
It was all over the show.
What about him? Well, I think he was doing right, weren't he?
You think so?
He was doing right. Burglars shouldn't be on his land, should they?
Of course they shouldn't. What's the penalty for burglary?
Well, it depends who's going to end up good. His penalty was have a go at him.
What is the prescribed legal penalty for the crime of burglary?
For theft?
Yeah.
Well, you can get 5 years imprisonment.
Okay, then. Does it say anywhere that you should be shot with a shotgun?
No, we know that.
No.
But what's his punishment? £4,000 fine?
£4,000 compensation.
Well, he was lucky, wasn't he, really?
Because the bloke who he shot is partly disabled.
Well, it could be worse than that.
Of course it could. Is the penalty for burglary to be deprived partially of the use of one of your limbs?
Well, morally or legally?
Legally.
Well, legally, no, it's not.
Well, there we are, then.
Morally, it is.
You think so?
Well, yes. Because morally, you shouldn't go into someone else's house and try and take some of their stuff.
Yes,
I'll tell you something. If somebody breaks into my house and tries to take any of my stuff, they'll be very lucky to get out alive with what I've got here for them.
What have you got for them?
Oh, crowbars, you name it. And I think it's straight through the top of their head if they walk through my door.
The judge who made this order on the pensioner who shot the...
What would you do if somebody broke into your house and you caught him?
I'd tackle him.
Exactly. And if you got a crowbar or a plank of wood, you'd have that in your hand, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're getting to the bottom of it now, then.
Ha 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 ha.
Well, you've agreed with me. You've agreed with me. For the first time in the history of your show. You've agreed that you would do the same as what I'd do if somebody broke into your house and you caught him.
Try and keep this hysterical laughter to a minimum.
Why?
Because it doesn't reflect very well on you, Gary, to be honest. You sound as if you're... see, you're trying to put forward a case, you're doing it inexpertly, and you keep breaking into this...
What
laughter,
a cheek!
Which makes you sound like a character out of Batman.
Hey, I'll tell you what. Keep your eye on paper tomorrow. Eh?
OK, then why? What is there?
Eh? Daily Sport. Bernard Manning's page.
Oh, no.
Keep your eye on that.
No, all right, listen.
It'll save me sending you a copy if I won, that's all.
The judge who made this order said the following. He said, I realise that I have been criticised, and many people will think that morally that this old geezer was entitled to shoot that burglar. Now, I don't know what the value of the stuff was in his shed. It might have been a few coppers, it might have been a couple of £1,000, you don't know. The point was that people in this country do not have the right to administer the law themselves. The state does that.
Why, yes.
OK? The question which the judge put, which is a very pertinent one, was, does a farmer therefore have the right, if he sees kids pinching apples off his tree...
Yes.
Does he have,
yeah, well, that's the exact example he used.
Right. Does he have the right to shoot them?
Of course he doesn't.
Why?
He wouldn't shoot them, would he?
Might do, if he was fed up.
He was shooting burglars, he knew what they were.
If the farmer was at the end of his tether, if he'd had a bad day, if he'd had a lot of kids pinching things, if he thought... Because part of the reason that burglary is such a disturbing crime for the victim is the sense of violation and that nobody has got the right to enter my house, they're taking stuff, they are getting away with stuff, and all they have to do for it is a couple of minutes pinching, they're taking stuff that I had to work for days or weeks or months to acquire. And it's a sense of outrage, it's a sense of intrusion and of violation. So what if a farmer feels the same thing? And he decides that he'll let these lads have both barrels?
He tried to, didn't he?
Who?
The farmer.
Farmer, cloth ears.
Farmer?
Farmer Giles.
Yeah, I know what you said, farmer.
Yes.
Well, that's what I said.
Right, no, it's gone. No, we've lost it. Oh, I don't know, screaming away there. That's enough of that.